In this chapter, we will learn how to import Excel files without using Java-dependent packages. Openxlsx simplifies the creation of Excel files by providing a high-level interface to read, write, and format Excel sheets with the added benefit of removing the dependency on Java. Openxlsx import functions include load workbook, read workbook, and the features of Excel Connect read worksheet and Excel Connect read workbook from file are merged in the Openxlsx read workbook. Openxlsx export functions include create workbook, add worksheet, alternative to Excel Connect create sheet, write data, alternative to Excel Connect write worksheet, and save workbook. Now let's learn each of them in detail. Load workbook. Load workbook loads and returns a workbook object, conserving the styles and format of the original XLSX file. To use the load workbook function, first install the Openxlsx package, then define the file name in the load workbook function. Done. Complete. Read workbook functions read the data from an Excel file or directly from a workbook object of a load workbook function into a data frame. The first argument of read workbook is the physical Excel file, workbook object, or a web URL to an Excel file. Second is the sheet name or the index of the sheet to read data from. Then we have start row, the index, and the first column to read from. Empty rows at the top of a file are always skipped, regardless of the value of the start row. Col names is equal to if true. The first row of the data will be used as a column names, same as header is equal to true. Row names is equal to if true. The first rows of the data will be used as row names. Detect dates to automatically recognize dates and perform the conversion. And in last, we have cols, a numeric vector specifying which range of columns in the Excel file to read. If null, all columns are read. For example, cols is equal to 157 gives the list of those columns, and cols 2 by 4 gives the range of columns like from column 2 to 4. The same technique goes with the rows. Let's see this with the help of an example. First, we will read the first Excel sheet from web R object. This is sample.xlsx file from our previous example. Type the function our object name WB, then the sheet number, and it's done. View the data using view. Our second example is to read the second sheet by using its name directly from sample.xlsx file. Type physical Excel file name instead of our object name. Sheet is equal to sheet name. Done. Complete. Simple and easy. The only difference is that we can either put file name or the R object name. Now this is an example on how to optimize the read worksheet query in case dealing with large data sets by simply defining the column range and the row range. Our next example is how to add a new worksheet to a workbook object. Let's first create a workbook to add a new worksheet. Create workbook. Now to add a new worksheet, type add worksheet, then the work object CWB, comma, sheet name, header is equal to null, orientation of the Excel sheet either portrait or landscape. Here, this is how we can add a new worksheet. So far we have learned to create workbook, add a new worksheet to the workbook. Now we need a function to write data in the worksheet. Openxlsx package again provides an easy way to write data to a worksheet using write.data function. Write data function includes parameters like first workbook object, then sheet name, then X is the object name containing the data frame, and rest are same like before. Start column, row names, col names, and so on. Let me show you with the help of an example. First, let's load the workbook sample.xlsx. Type names, the workbook object name, to list all the available worksheets in the workbook. Create an empty worksheet in the workbook object. Type add worksheet, workbook object name, then the new sheet name. Type names again to recheck the new worksheet is been added successfully or not. Now in order to write data in the worksheet, we need an R object with some data. So we will read a worksheet from the workbook WB and save it in an R object. Now write the R object RWB worksheet in the worksheet of workbook WB. Write .data WB a workbook containing the worksheet, then the worksheet name to write the data, then RWB will be our R object with store data. Done. Complete. Now save the workbook in the disk using save workbook, workbook name, comma, the file name that we will use to save as. Some few simple steps we need to do before we can use the save workbook function. Number 1. Install RTool, which is a collection of tools necessary for building R packages in Windows. You can download the latest version from this link, else I have already included the installation file with this chapter. Number 2. In R console, we have to define the location of R tools installed so that R can identify the location of the R tools and communicate for its necessary requirements. Type sys.setEnvironment env, then the location of the rtools.zip.exe file. By default, it gets installed at C rtools bin zip.exe. These are the windows that RTools will prompt for additional information during the installation. Just click Next, then select both checkboxes. Click Next. Done. Complete. This is the function that we have just used a while ago, where WB is equal to a workbook object to write to file. File is equal to name of the file to save as. Override if true overrides the existing file. Another common package used to read the Excel file with the added benefit of removing the dependency on Java is the read_Excel function. Parameters include range, that is a cell range to read from, also includes typical Excel ranges like P3 to D87, and _max, maximum number of data rows to read, and it defines the missing value formats. By default, it treats the blank cells as missing data and the rest are same like before. To use this function, we need another package called read_Excel. Install the package and type read_Excel with the Excel file name and the sheet name or the index. Done. Next, we will learn how to import data from popular databases using RODBC package.